All this extreme festival action from the East London Grand Prix circuit is proudly brought to you by Investchem, Car Care Clinic, and our associate sponsors. I, for one, am very excited to be down at East London Grand Prix circuit, especially with the Investchem Formula 1600 making their first trip down to the Eastern Cape for 2018. Good to see Nicholas Van Wheelie and Scott Temple stepping up their pace after their initial entry back into this category at the last round. But unfortunately, Cameron O'Connor not here this weekend and concentrating on his efforts in the Formula 4 United States Championship. Great to have Stuart White back though from international duties at Le Mans. Lights out and we go racing, and it's Scott Temple who didn't quite get off the line like he wanted. It looks like Van Wheelie might have got the drop. Temple looking in the rearview mirror, just trying to go defensive as much as he can to keep out the rest of this pack. And the reason being is his stablemate there, or similar livery, of Alex Gillespie, who goes into Potters side by side. It looks like he's stepping up there and moving into third place. Coming through the field as well, keep an eye out on Ian Schofield. Josh Dolenchek with a much better start than what we've seen out of him. He's in the Martini livery car as they head down towards Cochabana for the very first time. Dolenchek going on the inside, so is Stuart White. Stewie White not having quite the setup he wanted. That's why he's so far back. And a problem. That's Schofield, and it looks like running wide there. One of the red cars, it looks like, in fact, the entire field had to run wide to avoid the two cars who spun out down there at Cochabana. It was just the leaders who didn't get affected by that. And it looks like just stuck in there. That is that the race driver SA car? Yes, it is. That is Piazza Musso, who unfortunately has had some issues, and it looks like Schofield's had some of his own as well.
You can see what happens here, Greg. First lap, first time of asking under hard braking going into Cochabana with the wind pumping behind you. And Brendan Tracy with a massive mistake there. He went on the inside, left his braking marker way too late. And like I said, with the wind pumping, your brake marker changes with every single lap. On board here now with Piazza Musso, you can see he's just going to be an innocent bystander. He sees the carnage happening and just gets tagged. Had nothing to do with it and just got put out of the race. Very unfortunate, but a racing incident there. And I think Tracy might get a little slap on the wrist from that.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy about that. Looks like, unfortunately, it has cost the race driver, SA man, a bit of a terrible start there for him. But how's this start? Temple all over the back end of Van Wheelie. Two ex-champions in this category going at it side by side. The current championship leader moves up into, he moves up into third place and only just gets ahead of Gillespie. And they were very lucky to get away with that incident on the outside, because there was a car parked on the outside of the complex, and it might be under yellows that Stuart White might have passed there.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what Race Direction does with that, if indeed he did. On the brakes now with Nicholas Van Wheelie out front. You could see those cars just skipping over the bumps under the hard braking. Brilliant dice there out front from our two former champs. They are pulling away. Stuart White looking a little bit out of sorts here, maybe just missing the last race meeting, just coming into play now. You can see some of the drivers using a little bit extra of the curb coming onto the front straight. Scott Temple now on board with him. You can see the wind just pushing his head back and forth all over the show. He looks in his rearview mirror and his neck is going to take a serious beating in this race. Flat out stuff through Potters and rifle range.
Yeah, definitely no holds barred there, and it's absolutely everything. She's got the big wings on those cars, holding the cars down, even in these windy conditions. Look at Gillespie. Gillespie is attacking the championship leader. Stuart White is in big trouble here. He's not having a great weekend. He's battled a little bit with suspension, and it looks like he's having a little bit more issues here in race number 1, as Gillespie is all over the back of him and looking for a way through. Gillespie could squeeze out and get through into third place. That will drop Stuart White out of the championship lead. There is Lieutenant Colonel coming together there with the orange car, the 60 car there, unfortunately, of Jeremy. So Alan Mayer and Jeremy coming together at Cochabana. And the two of them, another car having to run very wide there. I think that might have been Harman van Beek, who unfortunately also got out of shape. And this is what it looked like from the inside of Jeremy's point of view. Jeremy spins out, and he tries to get going in. Alan Mayer comes up alongside him and just has to avoid. Fortunately, no touch between the two of them. So it actually wasn't a crash that happened between the two of them. Jeremy just spun out, and Mayer had to go wide. You can see from Alan Mayer's point of view, coming down into Cochabana, there's the spinning car. One dives on the inside. That was Schofield diving on the inside. Alan Mayer trying to go around the outside. Jeremy just sees him, and unfortunately looks like he stalled it.
Yeah, carnage at Cochabana so far in this race, meaning out front, no such problems for Van Wheelie, although he's still got Scott Temple right in his slipstream. You can see Gillespie and Stuart White still battling massively there for that final podium position. See, here we go, flat out stuff once again. Previous lap, we saw 8 wheels side by side going through Cochabana and, of course, rifle range. That was third and fourth place men, Stuart White and Alex Gillespie. You can see White just putting a little bit of a gap now over Gillespie, and you do not want to lose that toe. So vital here at the East London Grand Prix circuit. And you can see now Scott Temple on the brakes. He really really does close up on Van Wheelie, and then he tries to get the drive and use the slipstream down the long back straight.
On the speed straight now, this is where he needs to try and go. He looks in the rearview mirror. You don't have to worry too much about White. He's too far back there, Scotty. And Scott Temple now got to concentrate on trying to catch Van Wheelie. Van Wheelie looks like he's actually opening up the wick ever so slightly and trying to pull a bit of a margin. He's pulled slightly ahead there of Temple. Temple closes into gate corner. Now through the S's, he's right up and in it. So it looks like where Van Wheelie's car has the edge is down the straight and through Potters and Rifle into Cochabana. But the second half of the lap, that's where Temple comes back into his own.
Yeah, Scott Temple has got that car set up beautifully under the hard braking. He really does close in on those sectors. Here's going to be an overtaking opportunity if he can make it stick. You could see Van Wheelie forces him to the outside. That's going to be a very brave move to do that. Once again, 8 wheels as they go side by side. This is the final turn, so it's going to be a dash now to the line. It looks like Van Wheelie is going to hold on. Scott Temple tried everything he could, but we had to go the long way round and will just miss out on the win.
Unbelievable stuff. Van Wheelie taking the victory, moves himself up onto equal points there with the championship leader Stuart White. And what a turnaround here in East London. Van Wheelie now leads things out in terms of the championship as well as the win. Temple in second, Stuart White in third, Alice Gillespie in fourth, and Schofield recovers to fifth.
Bren, a little bit of a disaster in race 1 this morning.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mistake on my part. I was coming through turn or Rifle, and I dived down on the inside of Garth, hit the oil, and funnily enough, I couldn't stop, and I climbed into Claudio. So, yeah, it wasn't a great one, but it's better than nothing.
Moving straight into race number 2 now, and a couple of adjustments need to be made to a certain car, and I think we're going to see the return of Piazza Musa after he got tagged uncategorically down into Cochabana. Let's wait and see what his plans are. Alan Meyer, very lucky to survive, as we saw David Jeremy spinning out on him, but there's the man they want to catch, Nicholas Van Wheelie. Can they do it here, and will he go for the double? On board with Siyabonga Monkokwana as we get off the line. Good start from him. He goes side by side and a little bit of smoke coming off the tyres just ahead of him as they head down towards Potters for the first time. Look how busy it gets in the mid-pack. It is getting extremely busy. Van Wheelie off the line has disappeared already. What a start there from Nick.
Little bit of a mistake there for Siyabonga further down, hitting the rev limiter, and Scott Temple, once again, not the launch off the line that he would have wanted. Looking in his mirrors, he's trying to fend off now, going into the first of the Potters Pass, then of course Rifle Range, and then the hard braking down into Cochabana, and we've seen already what carnage can happen. Yeah, drivers are going to have to be very careful. Just hit your brake marker on the inside. Looks like he's already under attack. Is Scott Temple locking up the wheels there? Looks like it was Stuart White. Don't think he's able to make the move.
Yeah, Gillespie's on his inside as well, as the two of them came side by side into Cochabana. Now into the beat straight. 3 by 3 they go out of Cochabana and into line astern, trying to use the slipstream. Remember, the wind is pumping here, so you got to try and use that slipstream effect if you can. As they come through and into the complex for the first time, doesn't look like there's been any issues in the mid-pack. So everybody has got around this first lap without any incident. That's much better than what we saw in the first one. So now it's all about sorting things out and getting ahead of your rivals.
Yeah, Van Wheelie is looking like he just wants to check out, but Scott Temple so quick through that infield section. We saw it in race number 1. He really does close up, still looking behind him, pulling 1 or 2 little car lengths there over third place, but now closing right onto the tailpipe of Van Wheelie, who certainly has the first part of the circuit down and dusted. He really is so fast there, but as soon as they get into the infield, Scott Temple and the rest of the crew close right up. On board now with Thiago Rebella as they come across the line for the first time. Much better start this from Thiago now, right up there in the mix for the top 6.
Yeah, this youngster coming out of karting certainly has got to grips with these cars rapidly and certainly looks like he could be in contention very, very soon. He's got a little bit of work to do to catch Liam Pina, who's just up the road from him. Another youngster who stepped out of karting and into Formula 1600s only 2 seasons ago. So the rookies now starting to show that they've got what it takes to run with the usual contenders and ex-champions as well. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a change-up in this championship because Stuart White is still not having the day he wanted. He came off a podium in international duties over the last couple of weekends and now comes down to East London Grand Prix only with a 3rd in race number 1 and currently lies 3rd in race 2.
You can see some of the drivers still struggling to get the car stopped down into Cochabana. Tyres squealing everywhere as we go on board with Ian Schofield a little bit further down the pack there, and Andrew Schofield also not where he wants to be, a little bit further down than he was in race number 1, and in another almighty battle with Josh Dolanchik.
Yeah, it's great to see these guys not holding anything back here. Scott Temple trying to close things down. Van Wheelie seems to have got a little bit better car here for race number 2. Temple was able to close through the complex section in race number 1, remember, and he's now having to go defensive on Stuart White. Stuart White seems to be driving around the problem in his car. That shows you the type of caliber of driver we've got with Stuart White, not only competing here in South Africa, but also internationally. And remember, the last time he was away on international duties, Harman van Beek actually had his car and crashed it. That's the reason why he's battling to get that car sorted out. Alan Mayer with some issues pulling into pit lane. That's a big pity there for the LT.
The other problem Scott Temple has is in race number 1, he didn't have Stuart White so close to him, so he could just focus all his attention on closing on Van Wheelie out front. Now he's got Stuart White right on his tailpipe, so you can see constantly looking over and he's in his rearview mirror to see how close he is. So instead of just giving all his concentration to the man out front, he's now got to think about the driver behind him. And you can see how it just varies throughout the rest of the circuit. This is where Scott Temple really does close in. Look how much time he closes in on the brakes as they flick through the left and the right here into the left-hander once again. Look at Scott Temple. He's got that car perfectly set up, and that's exactly what you need to do here at East London. This is where you make up time.
And that's exactly what Stuart White's doing as well. Look at how he's pulled in there too. So now we've got 2 cars. Not too far off the back end of them, there's Gillespie. Further down, Munkankwana still fighting hard here with Schofield. Schofield around the outside, trying to find a way through on Siobonga. Hasn't found it just yet, but Ian is all over the back of him and looking for a possibility of taking Class B. Remember, there is 2 classes in this category. The slightly elderly statesman fighting out for Class B, and Schofield at this stage, I think, is leading things out.
Now, Siobonga gets good drive coming out the right-hander to the final turn, so it does pull a little bit of a gap there. Going to try and use that momentum down the front straight. Currently lying in about 9th place there, Siobonga. So good drive so far for the man, but nowhere near our top 3 contenders. It looks like it's settled down a little bit now out front. Van Wheelie has pulled the pin. Scott Temple has now pulled away from Stuart White, who's in a lonely 3rd there. Alice Gillespie, Leon Pienaar, much better drive this in race number 2, right up in the top 5.
Super effort from the youngsters, and I tell you what, Liam Pienaar and Tiago Rebello in a bit of a fight of their own. Schofield, Andrew Schofield that is, not too far off the back end of them. Then we have to go down to Josh Dolanchek, Munkankwana and Ian Schofield in the top 10. So literally coming into the second half of this race, Munkankwana's got it all to do here. If he wants to stay, oh, that looks like Jeremy. Jeremy spinning again. Yes, it is. David Jeremy spinning again. Having a bit of a tough time down to Kokavana.
Yeah, just losing traction from the tyres there. He's just spinning out, just on the gas a little bit too early, a little too much corner speed carried. You can see just trying to find his way through as he did in race number 1. But out front, Scott Temple is putting the hammer down and he's close right onto the tailpipes now of Van Wheelie. It's going to be another drag race to the line, but just not close enough. And Scott Temple will be so upset because he knows he had the pace to win these races.
Yeah, just off the back end there of Van Wheelie, who takes a double victory and takes the lead of the championship. Stuart White in 3rd place, Gillespie in 4th, Liam Pienaar beating out Tiago Rebello, and then it was Andrew Schofield and Josh Dolanchek. Confirmation of those championship standings. Van Wheelie now on 1 point ahead of Stuart White. Gillespie up in the 3rd place. A super effort from him, but he's been closed down as well by the 2 youngsters.
Ian, a very good day for you at East London Grand Prix Circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. We managed to win both races. Didn't get fastest lap or pole, but never mind, 20 points in the bag. It's a good day's work.
Nicholas, a dream day for you at East London Grand Prix Circuit, full house.
Yeah, it's been a great day. I mean, what can we say? I'm ecstatic. We came here, we knew Stuart was coming back, so we didn't know what to expect, and we've taken a full house, and it's all we can say is a big thank you to everybody that's helped, whole family, everybody that's here and back home. It's been great.